think that that's because there's a new generation of people who are expecting to be seen and to be heard in all of the environments that they live in, rather than just coming to work and then being like, hey, put your head down, sit in your cubicle, do your work?
We don't want to be just a number, because I've been there and I felt that, and it's awful. Why do I want to do this? That's a miserable life. You across from me, you're a human. You're not an object. You're not just another space or another number. You have feelings, right? And you have your own thoughts and opinions, and you have your own knowledge and experiences. And I feel like that needs to be brought back into the world today with the HR culture and anywhere, to be honest.
All right. Everybody, welcome back to the brand new episode of the Heart and Hustle podcast. Now, we have a very special guest with us today, Miss Anna Taylor. Now, you're going to be a part of our brand new segment, which is called HR Heroes. And so on this podcast, we talk about the heart and the hustle of business. Now, the heart is important because I think we've lost a little bit of the touch of what the heart is. And the hustle is something that everybody seems to talk about. But the blend of those things is incredibly important to me and everybody who watches this show and listens to the show as well. And so today we're going to be talking to Miss Anna Taylor, who is a Human Resources Director at FAS Maintenance that specializes in administration and program management within the veterans family business or family-owned businesses, which is absolutely amazing. She's a former unit admin technician with the 87th Legal Operations Detachment, military personnel and administrative assistant with the 88th Readiness Division Reserve Personnel Action Center, where you oversaw 1,500 soldiers.
I did.
Which is incredible. Yeah. And you've held various positions and roles in human resources from the United States Army Reserves, the 76th ORC Division, and Veteran Affairs.
Yeah.
Anna, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Keenan. I appreciate this opportunity. It's really big for me.
Yeah.
And for our company.
Well, I mean, I'm just excited to be able to highlight the people, like we were talking about before we recorded, that are behind the culture and, more importantly, the heart of an organization. Especially being in the veteran space, I just feel it is so important for these people who have served our country to have a supportive, encouraging culture behind them, especially when it comes to small businesses as well. And so why don't you kind of take a couple seconds, because one thing I really noticed and everybody's heard about your intro is your servitude that you've had in the military and Army space. Now, when I think about human-centric roles of supporting others, I think of servitude. Mm-hmm. So why don't you give us a little bit of background about your time in the military, in the Army, and why that brought you to the HR space?
Oh man, that's a great question. Well, when I was a teenager in high school, I wanted to do something with my life, make a difference. I think everyone does, right? And well, my family's really big in Army, so I kind of just felt a good push to try Army first, and I did. And to be honest, I loved it. Of course, with everything we experience in life, there's always the bad, and it comes with the good. And I feel it's important that we recognize what we experience, even if they're bad experiences, because we get to learn and grow. And that is what we do as soldiers. It's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of friends, and service is just it's to the heart for us, to be honest, because we love it. And once you're a soldier, you never stop being a soldier. And I never understood that when I was younger until I finished my contract. I did over 8.5 years in the Army, and my first job was HR, and I loved it. Only because I got to work with so many variety of people, different cultures, different ethnicities, and with that, I grew as a person, and I loved the fact that I could help others in a different way. I was able to help others grow their own careers from what I was trained and learned within my job as HR. I learned that HR is not a bad place to go to because everyone does not like HR. Again, I didn't know that in the beginning, my career, because I didn't like HR myself. But again, it's as you grow, you start learning things that people come to HR, not just for problems or issues. They just want somebody to hear them and to validate them. And that's very hard to do sometimes in the military because we don't always get validated. And then we do. You know, it's just like any place. And I wanted to be the person to validate my fellow veterans and my peers and my soldiers. And I wanted to show them that HR can change. I understand old generation HR was like, you don't want to go there, you get in trouble. That's a place you go bad, right? No, it's not that anymore. It's changed a lot. The culture has changed a lot to where we want people to come to HR and not be afraid and know that they won't get in trouble for coming to HR if there's a problem that they are having with either their worker, their co-peers within work environment, or even their supervisors. Because, right, you always have that mentality of leaders are separate from, the workers. And I think we talked about that in our interview before this.
Yeah.
And, I kind of think that hits hard because there's an invisible wall that everyone thinks there is. In some places, it's true. There is. And we can't get past that wall. But for me, in my experience, I've been able to, let's say, demolish that wall because I hate that wall. No one likes a division. It doesn't work. And I've seen it not work. But if you just break down the wall and show that everyone's equal and be respectable with everyone, doesn't matter, because we're all trying to work towards the same goal with whatever you're doing in your workplace. In the military, we're trying on one mission, one service, one goal. That's our mindset. And that still applies even outside the military, I've noticed as well. With my new industry that I work with, FAS Maintenance, it's the same thing, just different, context, but still the same. And I wanted to change the servitude and service where I'm still providing that service of, I'm going to say humanism, and not many people might not know that term, but it's just a form of empathy, but more. You're recognizing that you across from me, you're a human, you're not an object, you're not just another space or another number, you have feelings, right? And you have your own thoughts and opinions, and you have your own knowledge and experiences. And I feel like that needs to be brought back into the world today with HR culture and anywhere, to be honest.
I mean, there's so many things that you said there which are so insightful to me. You came from a background of servitude, one mission, one team, one goal, and then you get into business, right? And now you're with FAS Maintenance, and you're seeing a lot of the same similarities. And so let's talk about the old culture of HR, because when we talked about in our original interview together, right, that HR was looked at as a punishment.
Right.
Do we think that that's because there's a new generation of people who are expecting to be seen and to be heard in all of the environments that they live in, rather than just coming to work and then being like, hey, put your head down, sit in your cubicle, do your work, yada, yada. And people want to be heard and seen more, and that's why the culture has evolved? Or what's your 2 cents on that?
That's also another great question. I think I couldn't speak for all of HR. I can only speak from my experience and what I've seen and what I've gone through. So like for the military, when going through human resources, yes, I would say for sure the newer generation was making a lot of changes for that humanism I was talking about. And it was hard, to be honest, because we were battling heads with the older generation. And that's okay. Every generation, there's always something new and something that we want to improve on that the older generation may not agree on, or they may. I feel it's just a human thing we do, is that we want to change. Every new generation does. I'm sure later down the road, I'll have some younger person than me in HR want to change. I might disagree with it at the beginning, but because I've learned so much, eventually I know I will accept it. But I think it's just that. It's just our generational differences, it's just always going to be there. But with the newer generation becoming more and upcoming into the career fields And yes, it's the new generation pushing, I want to be seen and I want to be validated, has helped a lot. Also with being able to see that we don't want to work in just a cubicle. We don't want to be just a number, because I've been there and I felt that and it's awful. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. Why do I want to do this? That's miserable life. Why does somebody want to work in a 4-door space and not have anything personalized? And fortunately, throughout my career, that changed to where I would have met really great mentors. I've had really great supervisors that helped me change, but also they changed the environment. When I had great ideas, they accepted it. And I think that's another great key, is when you have a good leader, supervisor, or mentor even, hear your ideas and they actually change it to your idea, the environment is just phenomenal. And I've been so lucky to have that experience, because whatever idea I had for change, it was accepted. Some of them probably not accepted because I was still young, but it was still accepted, and like, okay, well, let's try it out. If it doesn't work, then right? And I feel that's how it should be. Even other cubicles or non-cubicle work areas. I know tech companies are very big with open spaces and making to where there's no walls, which I think is great. But I feel like they're the only ones that are doing it, to be honest, because they're more towards, like, I think you brought up the term people.
Yeah, people to people businesses.
Yeah, people to people businesses. And I envied that culture from the tech companies or software companies, like Adobe and Google and everyone. And I'm like, that's awesome. It's starting for sure. And I wanted to change that where I was in the military. I was getting close, but I had enough for me. I wanted to let somebody else just take that road. So I changed out, left the military, became a civilian. That's how we call it or term it. And my industry now is handyman work and maintenance. So it's definitely a more, I'm going to say, a cruder version of the military. I know military veterans will understand that. And I mean that because it's just when you work in a labor job, you have to be hard.
Yeah.
And that's what it is in the military. You have to be hard. And when coming into this, you're working with a lot of older generations again. And when you want to make changes, and I feel like I'm back to when I started as a young adult in HR with butting heads. There are challenges, of course, but it's great because I do have, my owner support of, the owner support of these changes that I wanted to do. We might be the only business probably doing it. Even like learning from my husband, who's been in this type of business for a minute, and the owner, learning the type of business, it's definitely very similar to the military mindset. And that's probably why I get along so well within this field and people who work in this maintenance and hardworking, the working class. And it's fun. And I do love challenges.
Yeah.
Like everyone loves challenges. And being able to show the changes of humanism has been an experience, because not everyone is used to it. They're not used to being heard. They're just used to going to a job, doing it, done, get paid. I'm good.
Yeah.
But I wanted to change that. I'm like, I don't want you just to come to work just to work. I mean, what kind of life is that? It's not very happy. Like, don't you want a fulfilling and happy life? I feel like everyone deserves that. And having that new thought process being introduced can be scary for a lot, because they're like, oh, well, what am I doing? What am I doing this for, right? So you have the cogwheels now turning in everyone's head, and trying to spread that is going to be difficult. But, baby steps, right? And that's what I try and do, and that's why I connect with a lot of our local community and other vendors or whoever we're working with, customers, and showing that our business is a business of change, and it's the mindset of humanism and people to people, and not just, business to people, because it just doesn't work. And I just noticed that the customers are even more happy, more satisfied with receiving that effect.
I think that's incredible, because one of the things that really sticks out to me there is you're talking about leadership, right? And it starts with our leaders. And when you were talking about coming on the show, you said how much support you had from the owner of FAS Maintenance. And so, first of all, congratulations for being underneath the tutelage and working in partnership with such a supportive leader. I think that's incredible. One of the things that we run into often on the podcast is a lot of people are saying, well, my leadership doesn't want me talking about the business, but I think it's a great opportunity to highlight the business and the things that you guys do. So why don't you spend a couple minutes kind of talking about FAS Maintenance, the culture that you guys are creating, and how you serve people in our community?
Okay, yeah. So FAS Maintenance, again, it's like a handyman company is how I can best generalize it, because we do a lot of things. We go from landscaping work to painting houses, inside or out. We do a lot of repairs, just maintenance repairs, nothing. I want to set a difference is that it's not contracting work. We're, renovating a huge home because you need a contractor's license. So we're not there yet. We like to be eventually as we grow. But it's just maintenance where we can patch a drywall or, patch and drywall a hole in your wall of your home or business. We can do simple plumbing fixtures that don't need contracting licensing, like just a simple unclog your toilet. That's what we kind of do, just the maintenance side. And we have a lot of great workers. I know we're still small, but we're trying to find more great workers. I think it's just hard with that, finding a great worker. Because we're a small business, we face the challenges of not having like a full benefits package like other businesses, because we're still growing. And so it's hard to find that person who wants to be dedicated to and grow with a small business. Eventually, yes, the benefits packages will come. We do try and compensate as much as we can within this hard economy, because everything's just, inflated. Like we are all trying to survive, even if you're making $70,000 a year, that's just not enough anymore. So we try our best to provide fair pricing and equitable pay to our workers, our employees, because they deserve it. And there are challenges with health benefits, so we try and offer like a health stipend, because we don't have full health care yet for our business, but a health stipend just to help a little bit more if they have their private health insurance. So we do try that. And then within our culture, when the business was first started by the owner, it was just him, and we'll disclose the owner is my father.
Okay, awesome. That's so cool.
That's how close of a family business we are.
Yeah.
And my husband is our operations manager. So. Oh,
I love this. This is amazing. This is really cool.
And then, so my father started with this business with my older brother. So it was more like a son-father business at the start. And then it just kept growing because we got more customers, we got more leads. And then my personal disclosure is my older brother did pass away this year.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's been very hard. So I used to live in Utah, working there for our other side of the business location. We had to close. But I just feel this gave an opportunity to be closer with my family because I live so far. And my older brother was the heart of our company because he started it with my father. And he did so much. And I didn't want our family business, even though I didn't feel responsible, but ultimately I almost did because it was in my father's name and my older brother's name as well for him to take over someday. But life changed. Fate kind of threw a bone at us. And just facing all these challenges of regrowing as a family and trying to re-support the business and make it back to where it was. So we've gone through a lot of bumps and challenges, people leaving, which is understandable, for their, personal reasons, and it's okay. And, we're getting back on track, I guess.
Yeah.
And having the culture of the employees we did have, and unfortunately left because, again, understand they wanted more money, and we couldn't provide that just because of the loss that we had. And, it's fine. But in the meantime, we were promoting respect within the workplace again. Because I know a lot of handymen and maintenance, and I mean very familiar to military language, is there's a lot of cussing, profanity. And I'm not against it. It can be crude humor sometimes. I know military veterans will understand this again. We have very crude, dark humors. I won't say anything on here, and that's just the thing. It's like within a workplace, you want it to feel like a family. And I think that's what we were trying to introduce as well, is when you work for us, for FAS Maintenance, it's a family. And yes, family fight and, do their own thing sometimes. But in the end of the day, still there and still trying to get the job done to grow. And that's what we tried to cultivate within our culture of the workplace. I think now, because it's just my father, my husband, and me, and we have another great manager that works with us, and we also have a couple of great employees that work with us when it comes to electrical work or painting or just handyman side of the maintenance for homes. It's great to try and reestablish those relationships, work with them, and trying to get that build of trust as well, because I feel like that's important that people don't understand, is that you need to have trust with your employees. And then once you have that, it just works much more better. Everything flows more easily. The processes of you that you create flow more easily, because now you have your employees' trust that you know what you're doing. With growing a small business, there's always gonna be changes, but they still have that trust in you as long as we have a main structure, which we do now. And just growing with it has been very nice. I'm gonna say it's been very nice just to see the changes you do put in effect and the work, and the employees are better with communicating for the future. And even now they are better with communicating to Sean, who's the owner, my father, and or communicating to our customers even, which has been a great change.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you guys are a family-owned business is near and dear to my heart, because the businesses that I've started have always been with family. And I actually put a post out on LinkedIn today as we're recording this that talked about, so many people say, don't get into business with your family. They say it's going to be a big mistake. But the fact that we can spend so much time together in building something that we're passionate about, I'll never look at as being a negative in my life.
Yeah, I don't think it's negative at all.
Yeah.
It's hard, for sure, because it's family, right? You see them at the work of the day, and then you're still there. I'm just kidding. No, but it is hard. But it's great because you grow closer to each other, and then you see sides of each other that they never have seen before. Like my father has expressed that we all had different sides. I have a work side, and then I have a personal side. My work side is completely different from my personal side. And my father has seen that side of me and has seen me grow, and I've, received his support and validation of that. And even my husband has, made comments. What was a funny one? When I'm on the phone, we all have a phone voice.
Yeah.
So He made a comment, he's like, I've never heard your phone voice before. I'm like, yep, I do have a phone voice. I think we all do.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny that we get to experience those little things with each other. And even me working with my husband, like most couples say, oh, don't work with your husband or your spouse or your wife. It'll never end well. Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
I think you just grow closer and you overcome communication challenges that you never thought would ever become about. But again, it's just as a human, you're always growing, you're always evolving, you're always learning and getting to your higher self that you have dreamed of being. And with that, you have people along that support you. Family's a big part of it. And you have your mentors that are a big part of it, your friends, your community. And with FAS Maintenance and helping out the community, we try to work with the community. And the owner, Sean, has reflected with giving donations to where he can, with charities. And we've tried to support local vendors who supply certain materials for us. So we try and promote those as well. So anytime we get materials, we try and go with a local vendor first. And sometimes that's hard as well, just due to pricing. Mm-hmm. Like again, all small businesses are we have our own pricing, and it can be sometimes great. It can sometimes be not great because we're all battling the material costs of things. And but that's what we try, at least. And I feel like that's important, where we can at least try. Once we get bigger, we're going to keep with that strategic plan of supporting our local vendors and customers who give, purchases of materials, whatever, and just supporting our local homeowners as well. Because I feel like homeowners, we're trying to rebrand the name of a handyman, because sometimes it's been, I'm going to say scandalized, but you don't get the trust because handymen can sometimes charge too much.
Definitely has a certain
just
that idea.
Yeah, the idea of it. And we just want to I guess it's a myth, right? Mm-hmm. So I just want to demolish that myth. Like handymen are trustworthy and they do give fair prices as they try, because they are battling the economic inflations, they're battling material costs, so they do try. And there are a lot of great handymen out there, and businesses just like us. So we're trying to promote that and get rid of that myth. Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I'm really interested in is because you're a family-owned business, right? And you're the leader of people, what are some of the initiatives that you've kind of implemented within the group that you're proud of when it comes to creating a more supportive, encouraging, positive, I would say, well-being within the FAS Maintenance group?
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I would say is from the start, did not separate myself. I said, yes, I am within a leadership role, but I'm not gonna make us to where there's that wall we talked about. I'm not separating myself from you. I'm gonna be working with you in the same area, so it's opened. And I always encouraged the employees that we had, whatever they want to talk about, I'm open. It doesn't have to be about work. It can be about, life or other things, like trying to just promote that culture of communication and that family feeling and the trust again. Because I don't like the fact when a leader comes in and they separate themselves and they feel like they're higher or better than the person, but they're not. We're just all the same. Yes, we have different, maybe more knowledge or more experience than others, but in the end, we're still human. We still have to get the work and job done. We still have to work with each other and talk to each other. So not having animosity against one another is probably the greatest start I promoted within the workplace, and removing, all that separation, all those dividends, and promoting the come talk to me.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Just come talk to me. Yes, I'm HR, but just get rid of that label. I don't care for labels or titles. It's just come talk to me. What can we do to work with? What do you need to understand? I know it's also hard when there's females working in this type of industry, and you have to work with, harassment, and we have people coming from different cultures and ethnicities, and then you have, discriminations. But to just help, I guess, break the barriers down and provide open communication, and to also help, I guess, grow as a business, or grow even as, I can't say what I'm trying to get to. It's just changing the mindset.
Yeah.
Is what I can probably get to. Changing the mindset that, yes, we are different. Yes, we have our experiences, knowledges, but that shouldn't put a barrier, or needing to remove those barriers and just feel like a family, or a great business that's trying to grow, and making it feel like we can all get along.
Right.
And we can have the respect that most businesses want. We can have the communication open. We can give employees their validated feelings and their experiences and the knowledge that they have, because they have great, immense knowledge. And that's the heart, I feel, of a company. Because if your employees are not happy or validated, or feel like they can't bring ideas, then why would they stay? Why would they continue working? So, that's what we try, and I've initiated, is making the employees feel that they do have a voice, and whatever ideas they have, they can come to me or the owners or all of us and just do like a big meeting, and just voice their ideas and say, can we do this? Can we change this? What do you think about this? And we'll go over it and go over all the possibilities. Like I've experienced with my previous mentors and supervisors, did the same thing. And we tried it and it works. And that's what we've done. And it's, we had employee satisfaction for a minute, which is great for the ones that we did. And I still want to keep that because I know it works. So we have more opportunities for future employees to come join our family business, our team. I feel like they would be more comfortable and hopefully see the future opportunities that they have with our company and being able to grow and be accepted.
Right. So let's spend a couple seconds kind of getting a little bit tactical here, because we hear a lot of leaders talk about, we want to open up the doors for communication. We want to make sure people are heard and seen. But what is your specific practice for eliminating some of those barriers that people perceive? Do you have like office hours? Do you have one-on-one conversations? Do you have a specific cadence that you deploy with the employees and the rest of the team? What does that look like on your side?
So on my side, with such a small team that we had, it was, I enjoyed group activities. I enjoy one-on-one conversations too, but group activities, when you have team cohesion in an activity, it's more fun, because then you actually get to see how that person thinks, how they work in their own way. And it's just like any game that you play, right? You always see how the other person works. And we try and have, we did have team meetings, and within the meeting, we always had, our conversations of, it was a 30-minute time frame, because we had an hour long meeting. So we tried to, half and half, I guess, had a 30-minute open up talk, like trying to innovate. Do you have any ideas? Do you have any process changes that you feel would work or help us grow or help us be more effective in our work, and maybe even helping the customers. Like we try to give as much chances, I guess you could say, within that 30-minute time frame. And a lot of employees did come up with a lot of ideas that were really great. Like they said, well, let's do this with the customer instead of this. Let's have this tracker for tracking jobs. It's a lot of those ideas that come out that make us a better company, and we keep those ideas and help innovate the company. So whenever there's future employees or new employees that are part of our team and they keep coming with those ideas, it's just great to have those 30-minute group conversations, because then I also feel a group is better. Just due to the fact that no one's singled out, no one's reflected as favored. Because I know that can come about in workplaces where one-on-one discussions are great, but if somebody else sees it, then they're like, oh, well, what about my ideas? My ideas are great. So that's why I prefer a group open up innovation talk.
Yeah.
That's what I could see it.
I think it's so important to eliminate the barriers by creating that cohesion that you were talking about. You know, one of the things that we do here at my company, FRANSiS, is we help people who have, and this is going to be our next topic of discussion, kind of like a stigma against things like positivity and mental wellness, by engaging employees and organizations with text messages of positivity, encouragement, support, or something helpful like a mental wellness resource. Because we recognize that mental health in itself is scary when we're individualized.
That's
and
true.
having those one-on-one conversations are tough. But when we're in a group setting and everybody has a topic that they can talk about, it changes ways that people are willing to open up and share their insights. And so I love the fact that you're using that as a way to get innovative conversations started by bringing everybody to the table and not narrowing out individuals or making it seem like individual team members are contributing more than others. Everybody's given a fair share to do that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I definitely am pro for the group conversations. Even in, like you said, mental health and well-being, a lot of mental health practices use group counselings.
Yeah.
Because of that fact, because they don't want people to feel closed in. They want to feel like there are others who have similar ideas, like, oh, you have the same idea as me. Oh, great. Let's just, let's talk about it more. Let's see what we can bring out of it, because everyone will have a piece. I'm going to say a piece of a puzzle.
Yeah.
Everyone has a piece of a puzzle. And when you put it together, then you can actually make your puzzle. You can make the product that you want, because you have all these great little pieces to put this product together. And that's what I love about group discussions, because we feel more comfortable, we feel more relatable, and it's not being singled out. And that's how businesses even have business meetings, I guess, is other great ways where everyone comes together and has their ideas and their innovations. But I want to take business out because I don't like business. It's just coming together, I feel.
Yeah.
And that's where it should be at, is just coming together and bringing everyone an equal circle table and providing that comfortability and relatableness.
You know, you posted something on LinkedIn that I thought was awesome. You reshared a post, and it was basically an image of a saying, which is, tell me and I'll forget, teach me and I'll remember, involve me and I'll learn.
Yes.
And I thought that was the perfect thing to be able to bring up in this part of the discussion, because involving other people and helping them learn and feel engaged in a part of the process is just so important.
It is very important, because you can talk to somebody all day long. You can try and teach them about Excel, for example. That just popped in my head. But if you're not working in Excel or working in the program that you are, how would you be able to learn? You can, again, we talk, teach, train, let's try it. And that's still being part of the step process of being involved with the employees and your teammates and your coworkers and even your leaders. Is we have to be involved, because how would anybody learn if you're not involved? It's just like with children. If you guys have children, I have my children who are all girls, and it's just like teaching a child. I'm not going to say all human, adults are children, but it's the fact of we have to be shown. We have to do it together to understand what we're doing, because everyone has their own way of thinking. And if you want to get to a certain goal together, then you both have to be on the same page. You both have to do the same process to get to that same goal.
One of my bigger questions for you is, as the leader of HR in your family, in your business, what is your mission for the next 5 years? If you could kind of like paint out that picture of like, these are the type of things that I want to implement and change. This is what my mission is for us as an organization. What would that be?
For the next 5 years?
Yeah.
I would say I want people to know FAS Maintenance as a cultivated family atmosphere or culture, to be honest. I want everyone to like, hey, I like FAS Maintenance because they're so personable. They're so, relatable. And that's from the customer side and the employee side. That's what I can see in the next 5 years. And I feel we could get to that, and we could grow, and we get bigger and have more employees and more establishments with, our structure and processes. That's what I have set as a 5-year goal, is I want us to be known. I want us to be known from that, good side favor, and not the myth of, oh, they're just going to cheat you, or handyman myth that we were talking about, they're priced too high, or whatever they had in mind. I want that barrier or myth destroyed within the next 5 years and replaced with a better idea of the handyman culture and the industry, just for all maintenance companies who are just like us. That's what I want. But I also want us, because we are promoting the veterans, because we are a veteran family and a veteran-owned business, and wanted to promote for all veterans, because we do want veterans to come work for us, because I feel veterans are just not given a second chance, and it's hard. I know everyone deserves a second chance, but I just feel for our veteran community, there's just so much potential we can unlock. And hiring one would prove that. And it has been proven. Soldiers, veterans can do a lot of things that most people don't realize or see, because there's no chance given. So I want that to be done in 5 years, is we have a great veteran establishment of employees who feel like they can come work for us and feel supported and be seen, and on top of those who have not served, but or spouses of veterans, because we also promote that too, is having more open. It's just more openness for that chance to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that I think about, especially in today's world, right, and we talk about kind of where culture is, negativity seems to swirl around us in so many different ways, right? There are people who say a lot of negative stuff. They get a ton of attention on social media, right?
They do.
And when we think about kind of the cultures that we want to build in an organization, it kind of starts at the top. And so if I want to talk about the topic of like positivity and optimism. So do you guys as an organization emphasize positivity, optimism, and what role do you think leadership has in, I would say, being that individual, walking the walk so it can drip down into the rest of the organization?
Yeah, so with positivity and optimism, we always promote our optimism right now is becoming a bigger business. From small to medium is our optimistic goal. Promoting that positiveness within our business. It's trying to, again, it's the challenge of showing employees to help grow us, because that's the only way for us to become a bigger business, is when we have employees who are loyal and trustworthy, and vice versa. We have to give that trust as well, that they're going to do a great job. And if we all make mistakes, then we'll train and do better. It's not giving up. And promoting that positiveness is, I think, just that. It's showing them that you're going to make mistakes, but that's okay, as long as we can, fix the mistakes and do better next time. Like any human, I feel, would do that, right? Because I make mistakes. I'm sure you make mistakes.
Oh, yeah, all the time, for sure.
But it's accepting those mistakes and growing from the mistakes. And okay, I'm not going to do that again. I'll do something else. Do something this time the right way. Or not the right way, just a different way that would work. And that probably is, the right course. I don't want to say right way, but it's the right course. And I feel that's our form of positivity, to reflect that to our culture, employees, or even our customers, is that we're just human and we're trying to grow. Yes, we're going to make mistakes along the way, but it's the fact that we're going to accept those mistakes, learn from the mistakes and move forward from the mistakes and do better next time.
Absolutely. I mean, that willingness to fail forward, I think, is just so important, because
Yes.
failure is a part of business in general. You know what I mean? If we try and be perfect, we're never going to make progress, because the odds of us being perfect on the first try are not very good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So now I have one piece of audience engagement. So voted, I put some polls out there, if you will, for our audience to be able to ask some questions or bring up some insights about their culture, I guess, understanding of HR. And one of these statements really stuck out to me. This person was a part of Generation Z, so the younger generation who's coming up. And this is what they said. They said, "My boss doesn't care about me as a person. I'm only a person in a seat." So we recognize that the younger generation has so many more options to do things that they want to, especially with TikTok and Instagram and everything else that they can do in creating a lifestyle for themselves.
Yes.
So what would your message be to other HR leaders and leaders of businesses who need to start catering towards the culture that we talked about in the earlier part of the episode, for this younger generation to start coming in and feeling seen, validated, and heard, instead of trying to, I would say, side skirt this idea that my boss doesn't care about me, I'm just, as a person, I'm just another person in a seat? What do you kind of think about that?
You know, it's hard because I've been in that seat and I know that feeling. Like I expressed earlier, it's not great. So I understand where this individual is coming from. You know, it's hard because I guess it depends where you're working. Because I've worked in a bad work environment and I felt like I couldn't escape. I couldn't breathe. I was being harassed. And I had support from others to help me with my conflict that I was having within my workplace. And it was against a team lead, you could say. It was in the military. And I feel for that individual because I feel if you can't talk to that leader or supervisor, I always try to cultivate to talk to an other source. I would say if they have an HR, or I don't know what they're working, but sometimes there's even some places provide like counseling services. But like, don't sit there and take it. That's what I'm going to say, because eventually it's your health, your mental well-being, of you wanting to stay there. And I always give the options of, do you want to sit there and take it? Do you want to live in an unhealthy work environment because of just one person? And that's just it. It's just one person. What about the other support you might have? Go find that support. Like, don't just sit there. I know it's so hard for the younger generations to come to that realization because they're like, oh, this person's older, I got to listen to them. But that's just it. You're in a workplace. You're an adult now. You don't have to sit there and take it like a child. They might see you like a child, and I hate that thought process. That's probably what's happening. But you're not. These young generations forget that they are now young adults. And the older generations, feel sometimes forget that the younger generations are now our future leaders. So why suppress them? So for that individual who feels that way, like, go find your support, whoever that may be. If it's maybe a coworker, like, talk to your coworker. Maybe they might provide some insight. I've had to do that as well, where I had to talk to a peer. I'm like, hey, what do? I feel this, and this, but I don't know what to do. Like, where do I go? And if that peer doesn't know, okay, but you talk to somebody. Let's go to the next person. Who would it be? Maybe another team lead, if that's an option. I know sometimes there's a team lead and then there's a supervisor. Maybe you get along better with your other team lead or your other mentor or supervisor. Like, you can go even above that supervisor's head, technically, and say, if you're conflicted, I can't talk to my supervisor because of this, and this. You know, get guidance, get advice, go seek that support. If it's a peer, HR, or if they have like a counseling service in some industries, like I said, do, like, just find that answer to your, I guess your crisis, because it is a crisis. And eventually you'll be overcome it, and you'll find what you need to do, either if it's going to be leaving the workplace. I know most people don't like hearing that, but ultimately, what would you want to do with your life? Do you want to keep living it with, coming to work and being yelled at or talked down to? Or do you want to find another place that actually listens and validates you? Like, I feel that's also another thing. Gen Z's, when you're stuck, even a younger generation, you feel like you're stuck, but you don't have to be. You can leave. You have that absolute right to leave and find a better place, and you will find that better place or a better pathway, or the supervisor might get in trouble, written up like they should, depending on what's going on. And you can maybe even have a better outcome within that same workplace. So there's so many pathways one can choose, but it's up to that person, individual, to decide what to do and to know and realize they don't have to sit there and take it.
One of the biggest things that I think about, especially as I've gotten older, is like an ultimate sense of accountability, right? So many times we cast our power away to others by saying, I can't do anything about this, or like, I'm just stuck in this job. But there are so many opportunities that people have out here today to be heard, seen, validated, listened to. And staying inside of a work culture that is suppressive, that makes you not want to wake up every single day and like be happy about what you're doing, is just a poor spend of our time. Because more so than ever, life is not guaranteed. You know what I mean?
That's
right. And
we
have to be able to spend it doing things that we're happy about doing.
Exactly. And you just hit it right there. Life's not guaranteed. So why waste your time?
Yeah. Well, Anna, this has been an amazing conversation today. We've talked about everything from small family-owned businesses, growth opportunities that are coming on the horizon, the way in which we're instituting changes in our organization to break down some of those walls and barriers. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show, because it's leaders like you who are taking the small steps that are going to create incremental change in all of the industries of business. Because when we think about the people, we think about eliminating those division walls that people have perceived. We open ourselves up to conversations. We bring our groups together. We can create better organizations that are going to be more successful, but we'll have a lot better time along the way. And I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of this new wave of leaders who are making a difference for a majority of our lives, which is work. And I just want to say, I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to kind of see where you guys take FAS Maintenance as well.
Well, thank you, Keenan. And we appreciate this opportunity. And for me, the first time on the podcast, it's I don't know, it's just so great. It's just a great feeling to be recognized, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, why don't you give everybody an opportunity to recognize FAS Maintenance? So why don't you talk about your website, how they can find you guys, your services, everything like that. Use the last couple minutes here for a little commercial.
Yeah.
And, you can highlight everything that you guys are doing.
Yeah, sure. FAS Maintenance, LLC. It's our handyman maintenance, property maintenance company. You can find us on Facebook, FAS Maintenance, LLC. Or we also, our main official site is fasmaintenance.com. And I should reflect it's FAS, because sometimes people might hear a T in there, but it's just fasmaintenance.com is our official website. You can see what we do, how to contact us. We do have an inquiries, what you can send us for whatever homeowner issues you may have, or business, if that's your type of work field. So whatever you need, I feel, as a homeowner or a business, whatever problems you need, please contact us. We are willing to accept your work, and we want to grow and help our communities within Las Vegas and Henderson, and eventually other states, but we're going to start just Las Vegas right now.
Well, and the fact that you guys are a veteran-owned business as well is something that needs to be highlighted and remembered. The fact that you guys have served our country, the fact that you guys have put in so much on the line to serve everybody else, is a reason why people should be supporting your business as well. And so everybody go check out fasmaintenance.com. And once again, thank you, Anna, for being here. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to do this again in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Keenan, so much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. It's been another episode of the Heart and Hustle podcast, a brand new segment of our HR heroes. Anna, thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Keenan.